problems, I think, and of course, from my perspective, I'm very pleased that there are a number of you going at it from your own particular directions, and I hope all of you have your success.
Nassim has a best friend who founded his project, the Resonance Project, Andre Nugas.
Yes, I've corresponded with him, yeah.
And Andre is at this point trying to get funding for me and a group of scientists. I'm not sure if I'll be able to work with him. He's always been trying to get funding for me, only because of the fact that I have my own direction that I want to go in and do.
Mm-hmm.
But Andre and me I consider Andre like a brother.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I know Elizabeth Rauscher, who's working with Nassim, is a wonderful woman and doing just her best to push this stuff. So, anyway, okay. Well, with regard to just the general sense of things, what do you make of what's happening? I mean, if the universe is intended, and if there is something more going on than just the random heat death of an engine about to burn out, what do you make of what's happening? I'd love your opinion.
Cycle, and cycles are closed renewals. They invert, they start over again. That's what the date on the calendar means.
This is what the 2012 date means?
It isn't that the world's going to end.
No.
It's just that it's like in Monopoly. You pass go, get $100, get out of jail. It's just a rebirth.
Do you have any ideas of what do you think that your ideas will be a part of it? In other words, the release of free energy or something?
I know we're in a very dark time in mankind's existence, because technology is a Pandora's box right now.
Right, it's being used.
30 bombs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just not being used.
Radiation, is such a dangerous, toy to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And then the environmentalists now, because of the combustion, and they're endorsing nuclear. I consider nuclear to be the biggest plague there could ever be on mankind. I mean, there's established scientific study that there's 65 million people die a year because our background radiation of our environment has increased 10 points. And that occurred, oddly enough, not from nuclear bombs and nuclear power plants, but from burning coal. Because coal, as it went up in soot, also had a trace uranium in it.
Right. It has a radioactive element to it, yeah.
Yeah. So 65 million people today and next year, a year, will die because of the 10 points increased background radiation. And I just, it's just such an unnecessary technology. When we talk about being in a nuclear, age, we're not in a nuclear age. Nobody's harnessing or tapping into the power of the atom to make fuel.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is we create fission and we create heat, which is waste heat, and we use it to boil water, which is steam, to turn turbines. All nuclear power plants are just big tea kettles, okay, because they're just making steam.
Right.
And that's just a joke. I would, I understand we don't have a choice. We don't know what to do. We're lost in the dark. If my technology could solve all of that, but I'm very cautious. I'm very, I guess, extremely frightened, and that's why I'm documenting my work. And then if I ever have the money, I have to go very slow because I'm limited in resources.
Mm-hmm.
I will someday, apply my skills and ability to making hardware.
Okay. Well, I have a feeling, that if there is, this big shift or change of the ages or rebirth or whatever that's coming up, somehow it's going to have to include a liberation of the individual, and the only way that I see that happening is through energy, essentially. In other words, as soon as everybody has access to and enough energy that they can do whatever they want on their own without having to get it from someone else,
Well, I agree with you. That will certainly take a lot of the stress off of us, but you got to always remember that all it takes is one person to wreck your day. And if you're talking about unlimited energy, you also talk about people that will still backstab other people, and if you can create an unexhaustible electricity, just think of
the weaponry. Well, then there has to be a corresponding shift in consciousness or whatever, because that's exactly where we're at right now. In other words, as you mentioned before, we're in a situation where, I mean, in my opinion, we actually have everything that we need. We have the tools. We have the solution to our problems. It's a change of mind and a change of heart that's required. In other words, we have to begin to use the technology with some wisdom and use it for creation and protection and this sort of stuff rather than destruction.
Well, it's a proverbial we. There's always going to be the angry, hostile person. My view is that, you know, you can't control everybody anyway. And the beauty of it all is that my philosophy, and I don't know, and I hope to see it someday, but maybe it'll still probably way off. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Man will become the inheritor of the stars and will be the custodian of the universe. And I imagine there are other life forms. I don't even doubt it for a second. But this technology, what I've discovered, this new energy source, can allow mankind to travel anywhere in the universe and not have to return to Earth for fuel. Because we'll have unlimited energy, we can create our own moisture, we can transform a planet, we can turn it into an oasis, or it can be another planet on another star. So I have a morbid, pessimistic view. My view is that, you know, you got to get man as far away from each other as we can, because with all the eggs in one basket on this earth, you know, it's just like Charlton Heston, you know, when he saw the Statue of Liberty. You know, curse you, damn you all, you did it, you finally did it.
Yeah, you blew it all apart, yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting, too, because I think people underestimate the psychological pressure that's on every one of us, you know, because we do teeter on that edge. In other words, there's always the question mark about the survival of the species. And maybe that's what biology is pushing for. Maybe that's what our evolution is pushing for, a way to get the gene swarm up and off of the planet and scattered about further among the stars and this and that, so that then, you know, the only thing that could, you know, wipe it out would be the explosion of the, you know, of the galactic core or something. And it would be almost in an evolutionary sense a way to propagate and continue the genetic lines that have been developing on this planet.
I was selected by Defense Science magazine, by the editor, which is the biggest military publication in the world. The editor's name was James Martin. He invited me to be the guest at the biggest aerospace convention in the history of the United States, Aerospace America. I spoke at the Town & Country Hotel under Power and Propulsion Systems. He said that I had the most revolutionary propulsion system ever created. What I have is an engineer's dream shop come true. I am able to create what is called a reactionless drive. It is unaffected by any weight load that is pulling upon it. I could do that. I've never solved my financial problems to go forward to work on all that. So I know it's pathetic that I'm still talking about it instead of doing it.
Well, you know, I'm not going to make a judgment on that. You're doing the best you can with what you got, and you're taking care of your family in the meantime, and I think that's about as important a thing as you can be doing. So, and you know, like I say, you just never know. You never know when when the right gear is going to click into place. So, I try to think positive about it. You're doing great work one way or the other, and it's sure an amazing experience just to be able to chat with you about it, because I'm fascinated and I'm blown away every time I talk to you, Marko.
Well, to hit on the proverb that you put out, the gears must mesh. And what I've done is I've pieced numbers together as gears, and that's why every mathematical function is